What is up, pimps? It's your boy Cree, and tonight we have Carlos visiting.
How y'all doing? Hope everyone's there.
There he is. So, how's your day been, man?
Oh, it's been not bad. I woke up to the apartment fire alarms or whatever going off. So that was a wonderful way to wake up in the morning.
Oh wow, like the complex?
Yeah, the entire complex.
Oh shit, they make y'all leave or something?
I mean, I didn't. I realized there was nothing going on. They got a lot of people moving in and out, so it was probably just like a routine,
Hmm.
thing. Plus, I still kind of live where like college kids live, so I'm sure it's more routine than other places.
Yeah, yeah.
How about your day?
Well, uh, all right, it was fine. Um, I got everything done I needed to do, and wow, we went live earlier, and it was kind of a big deal, and it's just so sudden hearing this type of news or whatever. Before we get into like the events of this afternoon, you said you had talked to Mars sometime early this morning, right? Like way
Yeah,
wee hours early.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
can you kind of give me a rundown of like what that correspondence was like? Or
Just he was belligerently drunk. I couldn't really make out what he was saying. Um, he was.
what time of
I'd
day
probably
was it?
say it was probably about 6:30 a.m. give or take.
Oh wow.
Um, he was he was pretty ecstatic, I guess I could say. Kind of everywhere on the map. I mean, I know what the triggers are and everything, but I still couldn't really understand what he was saying. He was crying too on the phone and just
Hmm.
uh, just pretty emotional. I've only seen him cry. Well, I've seen him cry a few times, but the last time I saw him cry in person was years ago in Tennessee because he kept missing a train or a bus or something.
Hmm.
So hearing him on the phone, he was just emotional and super drunk. So I didn't. He wanted me to come over, but I mean, he just when he's kind of like that, super drunk and such. It's a lot of me kind of parenting him, if you will. Like, hey, keep your voice down, and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I didn't really want to go over. Plus, it was 6:30, and I had just taken my meds, so I was gonna pass out eventually or so. Um,
Did
but
you know
yeah,
about did you know about his departure, about where he was going before he went? Like, did he notify you that, or were you asleep when this happened? Or
yeah, no, I was asleep. I was asleep when this happened. I like to watch a lot of anime YouTube stuff, so I just fired up some YouTube and was just kind of watching some content and was looking for my sports content, and then I had saw your video and a picture of it. And at
Mhm.
first, I looked at that and I was like, "Why did what's he doing? Is he sitting in the bathroom floor making it look like he's in the hospital or some shit?" So that's how I saw it, and then I found out, and then just made a quick assessment and such, and then he gave me a call. I don't know, around 6 p.m. I think, and told me what was going on, and I told him to since he was lucky because he was sent from home.
Mhm.
So in places in situations like this, if you're sent from home, if you want to leave, you have that freedom. But if you are brought in by an officer or something like that, you can't leave. And so he was just telling me everything that happened. That he ended up going to the hospital. Nothing bad was going on. He
Yeah,
said
you
that.
had showed up in the chat before we ended the show, and you were saying, "Guys, he's fine. He's just,
Yeah.
getting this kind of." Well, you said that you had talked to him between the time that stream ended to the time that led up to this event. Now, what we're about to talk about. what was he kind of saying in these messages or whatever?
So when I had talked with him at 6:30 in the morning, like he wasn't saying anything about rehab. Like he kept going on about how, he kept getting fired and such, and like I said, that was the main trigger for him, and that's all I really. That's he didn't mention anything about I'm gonna. Well, he always says he's gonna go to rehab, and I just never believe him anymore. So he always says that. So. And he's been saying that like consistently for the past few days, but he never does. So last night early this morning when I was on the phone with him, I didn't think anything of it. I was like, okay. I told him to go to bed because he was like, come over, we'll get more alcohol. And I was like, no, don't. You don't need more alcohol. Just go to bed, bro. Just go to bed and sleep it off. And then I just passed out. And then, like I said, I woke up because of the apartment, and then I saw the YouTube, and then saw that, and then he had given me a buzz at 6 p.m. and just said that I guess his girlfriend got annoyed with him, I guess, or something. I don't know. Sounds like they might have had a fight, and I guess she was a driving force to take him to the hospital or something. I don't know if that's really true or not. I don't know. But he ended up going to the hospital, and I think he might have said some stuff to the hospital that might have, to their perspective, they could have seen him as someone trying to get some drugs and such, because he kept using some terminology that doctors they watch out for frequent flyers and stuff like that, and then they sent him to. They said it was going to be a detox center, but it wasn't a detox center, and he kept telling me he was in a detox center, and I knew it wasn't. It was the way I can describe it is it's like like it's not a psych ward, but it's just like a holding place for like if you're just kind of like mentally not stable. And like I could even tell just like when I was on the phone with him, early in the AM, and then when he had called me at around 6 p.m., like he wasn't coherent at all. At first he was telling me to.
Did they give him anything while he was there, like any kind of psych meds or?
No. Then I don't. They weren't going to.
He was just fatigued from the events of the day and the no sleep and the drinking and.
Yeah, I think that's what happened. Being emotional, and plus we were in a heat wave, and being that drunk, and being dehydrated doesn't help. And like I said, and during our phone call when he had called me around 6 p.m., like I knew he wasn't coherent because one, he had told me to bring him some kratom and chocolate milk, and I said no, I'm not going to do it. That's not going to work. And then 10 minutes later, he said he told me to bring it again, but then he said no, that won't work because then that'll look weird. Just you bring me chocolate milk, they'll probably think something suspicious. And then he turns right around and says, "Hey, can you bring me put some kratom?" And he was like, "Can you just put in some like chocolate milk or something? Like they won't think anything of it." So he was saying all this stuff, and I was like, all right, like he's not with it. He's not very coherent, and I don't think he was. The lack of coherency was because of drugs or anything. I just think he truly didn't know what he got himself into, and I think he was just really stressed because, and I can understand because I've lived in group homes to where like they have like holding places, and I've been in psych wards where like they had him sit in just like an empty room with like a bench with a sheet on it with nothing. So it's just him with his thoughts. So like I can and I knew he wasn't gonna I knew he mentally just couldn't handle it, and that's what he was going on about. I was like, I can't stand this shit. I was like, well, like yeah, like what'd you expect? And for whatever reason, he's got this idea that if he ever goes to rehab, he's gonna go to some cushiony place in Florida where you play activities and all this, stuff like you see on those drug shows. What are they called? Like intervention, like.
Well, there's a celebrity rehab show that was out there, but that's it's all fake. But
yeah. But for some reason, that's what he thinks. That's what he thought was going to happen today. Like he had brought up detox. He thought he was going to be sent somewhere, to some place like that. And then he was going on about how like he was going to be there for like 30 days and such. And I mean, I could believe that. But then when he started describing the place where he was at, I was like, bro, that's not a detox place. That's nothing. That's just like a holding place for like people who are just a little unstable at the moment. And he kept saying he could, leave anytime he wanted to. So I was like, then fucking leave. Just leave then. Just leave. And he didn't want to get in a fight with his girlfriend, which is understandable. But he could leave. And I told him, I was like, bro, like you can't, like you're sitting here saying like you can't even stand 2 hours. Like if I put up with that for a year and a half,
Yeah. He
or
didn't make it
extra,
7 hours, did he?
No, he was in the hospital. I would say from when all this began, he was in the hospital for a majority of the time, and then in this place where I didn't pick him up from the place. I picked him up from the liquor store, but he was just there for
Tonight?
2 hours. Yeah.
Oh shit!
He's home already. Like I knew he wasn't going to survive, especially being home sent, if you will. He's like, I can't handle this. Like, I can't do it. And I was like, well, if you got the
didn't even
ability,
give it a day or two or a week or like, wow, man.
yeah. And honestly, Marcel,
I know he's scared, but he needs to be strong, man.
yeah. And see, I'm saying is like he's not like he's just not. And I don't like saying that like to shit talk. It's just the truth. Like he's just not. And just how he was describing the place and everything, like I just knew that wasn't the place for him. So I was a bit worried, like how that was going to impact him. And when I picked him up, I tried, to help him understand, like, do you realize where you just were? Do you realize a big bullet you just dodged? And he didn't want to talk about it, which I can understand to a degree, but something like that, like it's not traumatizing, but it is something to where it's not normal, especially if you've never been in that situation ever before in your entire life. I mean, I've had multiple experiences with it before, so I mean, I get it, and so that's what I was trying to help them understand. Like, you need to understand if they wanted to, they could have had they would have evaluated him with like a psychiatrist, and they could have not released him, and it just could have led to something worse. But since he was sent via home because of his girlfriend, like he wasn't brought.
Do you know any details of what he was actually going into the rehab for? Like what chemical dependency did he tell them?
Anytime he brings up about I'm gonna go to rehab, he just keeps saying that I'm on these benzos and such like that. And
so you think maybe he just told the counselors and the doctors that he was an active alcoholic, he drank regularly, he was on kratom regularly. I'm not sure if he still had been on the research chems lately or not, because I haven't heard anything about him. We know he smokes green, which is fine, but do you think maybe he just approached them and said, look, maybe he's having some kind of a crisis due to the jobs, and this was all coming to a head, and he just mentally couldn't. Because I've been there like months ago. I was in a funk to where I just didn't care about nothing, dude. I know that feeling of like helplessness and hopelessness. So,
like I mean, I know he's stressing, and it's because of
he needs more
the jobs
care than so much rehab.
Yeah, I mean I actually just had that conversation with him a few nights ago. Because like I understand, getting fired, and he kept getting fired like back to back, and
I'm sure it's causing tension at home with the old lady, because to him it looks and feels a certain way. So, and I showed back up at the door with him and something from the liquor store, be it kratom, cigarettes, booze, whatever, probably beers. Was she pissed at him for leaving, or did he kind of notify her ahead of time and say, "Hey, I'm jetting. I can't do this.
Yeah,
do this."
Yeah, he told her that. He told her that he was leaving. He already bought the liquor.
She looked pissed when she was taking him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I saw that. I just think she was just pissed that it was happening. I don't. Oh, first of all, she criticizes him for stuff when she's, has had her own issues, and I've seen her really, really drunk and acting like a fool and everything. So she has no room to talk, and she does a lot of things that can be considered toxic. So I was telling him today, I was like, just stand up for yourself. Don't let her walk all over you like that. But what I was trying to get to him, it's just it's hypocritical that that she's saying that. But in that video that he was posting, and that's where when I saw that, I don't believe. I believe Megan took him, but I don't believe that there was some earth-shaking event that.
So him getting drunk, belligerent this morning didn't have a hand in it or anything, or
it probably did, because it's I think he's been up for quite a few nights just drinking all night, so I do think that has a factor into it. But what I'm getting at is I don't think she something went down so drastically that she's you're going to rehab. I just think he just
was
did
his
it.
Parents involved with this whole thing with her this morning?
No, maybe? He said when I dropped him off at his place that she was probably going to tell his dad. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. But there's a part of me that just feels like I think he just did this for attention. I just.
No way.
A part of me thinks that. I don't really think it was all it was legit. He went to the hospital and he went
maybe
somewhere.
He thinks because of the job loss thing, he's been feeling like shit, not making money lately. So you think the events this morning it came to a head, and he said, "That's it. That's my problem. The reason why I'm being so unsuccessful in being successful is because I think in my mind my drug problem is overwhelming, and when it's really just a psychological thing. He's psyching himself out."
Yeah.
And maybe she was kind of well, I don't know what else to do with you anyway, so here, I'll take you. You know what I mean? Was it kind of like that, or?
Yeah, I don't know what events led up to if he says my girlfriend's taking me here, I there's a part of me that doesn't believe she threw him in the car you're going to rehab. I don't think that happened. I just think because he was drunk, kept losing, kept getting fired back to back to back, the tension at home. I think he might have just said, just go on to rehab. I think she was like, fuck it, whatever. But I don't think she took him there because you need help.
She's probably a normal, level-headed girl, and she's allowed to have differences and preferences about what she expects in a man or how they carry themselves or how they treat her. She probably was just well, if he's insisting on me taking him, I sure as hell I'm not going to stop him, because it's either going to lead one way or the other. And this is a situation where I don't know if he's on thin ice with her or not. The way she was feeling and acting this morning, I could tell she was pretty pissed. And it's we all know that she's not too friendly with you, but she knows you're a staple. You're around. So it's if you wasn't around, he'd be in worse shape. Does that make any sense? So it's almost like she allows you into their home to a degree, because I'm thinking you picked him up, you brought him home, you're the enabler.
Yeah,
but she's not going to say nothing to you, because he probably told her on the front end while he was there, hey, he was just scared. He didn't want to be alone, and he was probably thinking he was going to be sick and just tormented. So I see all of that, but my only thing is he didn't give it enough time. He didn't give it 1 day or 24 hours. I think they stuck him in a shit situation. It made him feel more hopeless and helpless, and he just psyched himself out.
But he was also
a fucking
saying
therapist. He doesn't need a rehab. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he was telling the nurses, when someone comes in for detox, you're supposed to give them this med and this stuff. And nurses, they look for frequent flyers, because people go in, and I'm sure this, people go in there trying to get on meds, for stuff. And I know that's been
of people cutting themselves, going to the ER to get a free fix of whatever they can get. I've heard everything on the board. So that's probably,
And the stuff that he was saying, the terminology, I said, bro, the reason why they didn't give you the meds is because you're basically telling them point blank that that's what you're doing. You're not that you're. you're not saying I want free meds, but the way you're behaving, the way you're acting, the stuff that you're saying, the terminology
It kind of came
to
off
the train.
fiendish, but it's like in
Yeah,
reality, he was just trying to forewarn them, like, look, I've been on these benzos, and I'm scared that after a few days I could seize out or have. Are you guys going to treat me with some kind of, something to help acclimate this down? And I think, like what you said, your theory about they thought maybe he was just a doper trying to get in there, and they
yeah.
were just
Because
trying to. They wasn't going to
if
make a
they were,
special case out of him, and so they
they weren't,
treated him
because if
less.
because he was saying, oh, I might have seizures and things. But the thing is I used to take care of clients and such. So like you get trained to look out for seizures and such. And if they were concerned about, because they did a drug screening on him, and if they were truly concerned about seizures, they would have kept him at the hospital, and they would have put, because on hospitals they have different levels of this is where these patients go for like fall risk. These are where seizure patients go. So they would have kept him there, and he would have been under medical watch if they truly believed that there was going to be a seizure and such. And he doesn't have epilepsy, and bright lights. They don't do anything, and they do testing of seizures anyway to begin with when they check you out. Anything like the nurses, they're not just nurses. I'm not going to say they're full-blown psychologists, but they know enough to watch out, for how people are behaving and such. So that's what I think they just saw him as someone trying to get free drugs, and it's not
Yeah,
they
it's
didn't
kind
take
of
him
like the wrong
seriously.
words came out because he may look like a normal guy, but the way he looks is not the way how he talks or thinks. And so when he's
Yeah, and that's what I
in this
tried
mind
telling him in the
state, you can't talk him out. I've noticed he's like that. When he gets in a mind state where it's almost like there's no point of reason. He'll hear you, but it's not hitting his fucking
there's
head.
not.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah, there's not, and that's what
he probably came
Megan's.
off very overbearing and desperate and not meaning to,
Des-
but they don't know him. Does that make
yes
any
and no.
sense? Like we know
Desperate,
him
yes.
because we know how he thinks. I've had time to spend with him downtime behind the camera, so his thought process is not rational like us. Like if he's in the moment onto something, he seems like he can carry that 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 notion that he's there and he's aware. But it's like when he goes live, he's not there. But when he's doing self recordings that are pre recorded, he's alone, so he doesn't fare well with live exchanges with people he don't know. And I think they
No,
just didn't get a
he
chance to evaluate him. He wasn't there long enough.
and see, and that's actually what I was trying to tell him. The bullet he dodged was because, so when I was sent to a psych ward, um, just later on in my years, I was detained by officers, and I had to stay there for overnight. But I had to see someone. It was a psychiatrist, and they had to do this evaluation. And I was trying to explain to Marcel, I was like, "Look, bro, like you were home sent, so like when they were telling him like you can leave anytime you want to, like if he was sent via by anywhere else other than home, he would have had to seen a psychiatrist, and then it would have gone down a road that he just wouldn't be able to handle. So he's really lucky that he dodged the bullets because I tried telling him this in the car. It's like you don't understand what you just went through and the ramifications that could have happened.
Yeah, like this is on
And
file now. If anything happens between anything he does or gets in trouble with about this stuff, it's going to be duly noted that he just admitted himself for psych treatment or drug treatment, and it's going to follow him on his jacket, and it could
yeah,
affect
like
jobs, potential things.
well, it won't. I don't think it'll affect jobs as much, but it will affect, and that's what I can't see Megan just throwing him into rehab. I can't see that with her. And the thing is like here when I picked him up, he had a bunch of booze with him and such, and I know Megan enough to where like, oh, you're enabling him. But the thing is like he's gonna get alcohol. Like he walks to the liquor stores. Like if he wants something, he's going to go
Yeah,
get
we
it.
had
Like
talked last week, and he goes, "Hey, I'm walking to the beer store, even though I have the car at home. I'm going to walk 2 miles just because I want to." I'm like, okay, like, uh, so he'll do weird things to kind of, I guess, test himself or his limits, and that way
not.
him walking to the store was like a testament of, well, I'm going to earn this. Like, I'm not just going to jump in a car, get this free, head
Well, the thing
change
is, it's like
because it's
one thing that I
convenience.
one thing that I noticed today when I had picked him up was I wouldn't say he was in a full blown psychosis, but he just was not coherent enough. And like I keep telling him, like I see a lot of like mental health traits and that he just does not want to hear. And actually, wherever he was at, they had asked him, "Do you want to go to Southeast?" So Southeast is the first place that I went to, and I went there for mental health, obviously. But before all this, I kept telling Marcel, I was like, "You can go to Southeast. They will see you without insurance. You can get the help you want without insurance.
I heard the
You
place is
can."
a real toilet. Like, they wasn't going to really do much for him
Well,
because I
that's
guess the
because
way
he
he
did.
showed up.
Where at?
Well, it was like something about they were going to put him in a sober halfway house until they could figure something out because it was
No,
going to be
no,
within.
no.
Like, the hospital visit was just to rehydrate him. Like, you know how you drink all night and you wake up hungover the next
Yeah,
day? And of course, your first instinct is to drink liquids, Gatorade, water, anything to rehydrate you. And
yeah,
it takes longer to rehydrate you. Well, with him going to the
yeah.
hospital, they gave him the saline or whatever, straight veining. It probably snapped him right out of that rehydration. And because, I mean, they're putting it in you instantly. Like, one time years ago, I had to go to the emergency room because I was so sick for like a week or two. And I finally got tired of feeling sick. Went to the
Oh
hospital
shit.
and they said, we don't see anything wrong except for the fact you're dehydrated. And I'm
Hmm.
telling you, I stayed so sick that week that I felt like I had the flu. I couldn't sleep. It would wake me up out of my sleep. It was just nothing I could do to stop it. And then when I went to the ER, found out I was dehydrated. They made me sit there for like an hour and they pumped all this saline or whatever in me, whatever the shit is. And literally it
Yeah,
perked me up, made me feel perfect. And I felt
yeah, and
so
that's
well. And they said, now,
when
when you
when
go home, you need to keep drinking water and stuff from here on, at least to the next day. But I felt so relieved
yep,
and better that I wasn't sick for the first time in 2 weeks that I went to sleep. I woke up 2 hours later and I felt shitty all over again.
yeah,
But I
and I
knew,
think
so
that
I
was a
started
big
drinking, and it took about a day and a half, but I snapped out of it.
and I think that was a big factor too because I had heat sickness like a month ago or something like that, and
Mm-hmm.
that kind of makes my mental health worse. But I noticed that I was delirious and stuff like that too. And so with being at the hospital, with him drinking all night, dehydration, and with being hot, and they put the IV fluids in him, I think that's what actually calmed him down, if you will.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really think that
It's
was
like he
another
missed his
factor.
hangover today because he went straight to there. But
Yeah,
I'm just wondering if he psyched himself up and was thinking that
he did.
the culmination of all of his problems is because of his drugs. And it may not be necessarily the problem because he's a good worker. He will show up for his jobs. He will put forth the effort. He will do what he has to do, whether it sucks or not. So if he's getting fired, it's over something he did, or maybe he just didn't meet the
Well,
criteria they expect.
one text message that he had shared with me as the reason why he got fired. They were actually saying that his work ethic wasn't good. And then I also remember a time, it was near that wallet story we told you guys about. I had
Yeah.
I had heard this similar thing that like he's not moving fast enough and other stuff. So I think his work ethic actually might not be as good as what it used to be. I still want to believe it's still good, but I don't think it's as good as what I thought it was because the thing is like he keeps getting fired. So there's a reason. Eventually you have to look at yourself. It can't just be everyone else. Like I am the problem.
Hey,
So
can I
I
stop
think
for a second, brother? Kay
yeah,
just reminded me. I forgot I did this for you guys today. Um, I'd made a couple of new dono vids. You mind if I play those real quick, just to let you guys see what I got now?
yeah.
All right, here we go. Here's the first one.
How much is this? I have no earthly idea. I truly don't. I just stack it up, keep it dry, spray it for silverfish. There is more money here than we could spend in 10 lifetimes.
All right, there goes the first one. Let me play you the other dono one I made.
You see, I'm a guy of simple taste. I enjoy dynamite, and gunpowder, and gasoline. What's it? And you know the thing that they have in common? They're cheap.
Said you were a man of few words.
Oh, I am. I'm only burning my half. All you care about is money. This town deserves a better class of criminal. And I'm gonna give it to them. Tell your men they work for me now. This is my city.
Okay.
Yo, I
So
tell
I had
you,
to
that
interrupt.
was a great movie. That was such
Yeah.
a great movie.
She reminded me, man, this is such a heavy episode that I was going to say something, but we jumped right in and I forgot. So, new dono
No, that's
vids,
fine.
guys.
But
You know,
at
thanks,
the end of the day, you know, for anyone that saw that, you know, he's fine. But yeah, he's done. That's over with. Just
so,
like
I mean,
that.
what do you think's going to happen tomorrow? I mean,
Probably the same thing. Probably, I would assume tonight, his girlfriend will probably going to work pissed off that he came home. He'll probably want me to come over and he'll drink and he'll, you know, complain about all of it. And then,
Gray, you should come
Yo.
up, man.
and then, the next day it will probably be the same thing.
Well, he
I-
said
I
last
don't-
week he was doing a temp job or something. Did he lose that? Was that what that was? Or
He said something about a temp job. He said something actually today about. I see. That's the thing is I don't know. He just says all this stuff. I don't know. It's one of those things. You know, I'll see it when I believe it. I'll believe when I see it. You know, I don't know. I mean, I do believe he is actively looking for a job, but I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
because he keeps getting fired, it's taking a toll on his confidence. But as far as, you know, the rehab and the drug thing, like I'm not good for comforting people, so I don't know how this is gonna sound, but he's not mentally tough built for that. Like he can't handle it. So, and
Hey, Gray.
oh hey Gray, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm hanging in there.
Hey, I caught you, I guess, in the middle of everything, but like, is Mars leaving? Is he staying there?
No, he's home now. I picked him up
Are you
like
fucking serious?
yeah, I picked him up maybe
Does
an
his
hour and a half
girlfriend
ago.
know? Does his girlfriend know?
Yeah, he texted her. Yeah.
Oh my God. He
Yeah.
was gonna get a fucking place to stay, wasn't he? Like, was he gonna go to detox or?
He thought he was going to go to some cushiony detox center where it's a resort so you can play all these activities and all this stuff. No, that's what he thought was going to happen. When in all actuality, when the hospital, when they realized that he was looking for shit, they just sent him to, well, we're not going to send you there. We know what you're doing. Like,
Well,
it's
he has to get medication, like straight up. Like he has to get medication because the stuff that he's on, you can't just like cold turkey detox that shit. That's not.
But,
You can't do.
but see, the thing is like the place
Yeah, I
I
figured
used
they
to
would
go
give him a
to.
script for Ativan or something. You know, something to
Yeah,
kind of change
Ativan
it.
or
No, because
that's what they do for alcohol and all that stuff. They give you Ativan at the psych ward.
yeah, but that's the thing. It wasn't like it wasn't like a psych ward per se. It kind of just reminded me of it. It was really kind of like a holding room, if anything, not like a drunk tank, but it was just a holding room that had similarities of a psych ward. But he was at the hospital prior to going to there, but they had ruled all that stuff out. And like, yes, he takes these research chemicals, but and he says they have benzo components like it, but I don't think they're benzos.
Yes, they are. The stuff that
per
he is
se.
taking were literal benzos. What people do is they find these synthesis like drugs for
Mhm.
synthesis, and they find them and they produce them in China. They are benzos. They are legitimate, real benzos with real addictive properties. They were designed for the market, but Xanax had lower addiction potential, if you can imagine that. Something, so this stuff is like way worse than Xanax ever will be.
I will respectably agree to disagree with that, because I also told him to go to Southeast because he was concerned about, getting medication to taper off of it and such. And I said, like, you can go there, they can get you, they'll see you, like, they'll do everything without insurance, and then they'll even help you get insurance, like what I got through the States.
Yeah, he's
And
gonna
he
have a
just,
seizure. He
just
will
wouldn't
have
do it.
seizures. Everybody, if you go online and you look at the Reddit and everything, and the people who've had experiences with these compounds, people die. Like, people fucking die. And they have seizures. They have all the regular effects of a benzodiazepine detox. But the fact of the matter is that, yeah, he's waited too fucking long. He could have set this up and had a place to go. He could have called somewhere and maybe found something that was decent. You know what I mean? But he's like spent so much time, talking about doing it, that he got to a point where, like, what happened is his girlfriend could say, like, fuck it.
No, he just left on his own.
No, but like, how did he get there? How the fuck did he get, what caused this whole thing with his girlfriend?
I don't know. He had called me up at 6:30 a.m., really belligerently drunk. I couldn't make out anything that he was saying. He wanted me to come over. He was crying, but, like, he was just in that state where, like, I would have to parent him. And I had just taken my meds, so I was going to go to bed. And then I had woken up around 2, and then I had just saw, the thing on YouTube, because I was already on YouTube. And, I saw it, and,
Is this
like, don't get me...
behavior for him to get, like, wanting to be parented, I guess, or wanting,
Yes.
like, and when did
Yes,
this
because...
start? When did this all start? Because it's really weird. Like,
can you reword that?
I'm
Reword your
sorry.
question.
Like, when did this stuff start? Like, when did the crazy behavior and the crying and all that shit? When did that start? Like, was that recent? That this behavior started happening?
Yeah, it's just been, and it's not drug related. It's just because he kept losing jobs, and he lost his Uber job, and he's always been a worker. So just the stress of that.
Drug related. I mean, if he's taking high doses and then he doesn't have any for a couple days, it's going to mess with his brain and his chemical levels and what he's experiencing.
It's going to cause him to think what he believes is what's really going on.
Imbalance. Yeah, it's going to cause an imbalance.
His chemical levels, don't get me wrong, they are definitely imbalanced. He's very unbalanced too.
Yeah, so
I
check
just don't...
this out. The flubrazolam is a benzodiazepine derivative.
It's like
that
4
is
times stronger than Xanax.
Quanzalam, which is Xanax, and it produces strong sedation, amnesia at oral doses at as little as half a milligram. And he said that he took 10 of the 0.5 milligrams today before going in, and he's also mixing that with alcohol. So
I wouldn't believe the amount he's taking. I don't believe it. I don't think he's taking 10 of those.
Mixing it with alcohol is going to cause issues.
Mixing alcohol will enhance it, yes, but
down,
he's not. I don't believe he's taking 10 of the strongest ones. I don't know, at least with you guys, but at least through my addiction, I don't.
Around him. I don't know. He could be lying. He could be exaggerating. I just don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, don't get me wrong. Like, he takes them, and like he's always worrisome, about running out of them and such. Because I'll take a couple just before because I was just taking a couple off of him because I couldn't sleep. And then because my Seroquel stopped working, but then I just got a brand new med, and I don't need these sleep anymore, so I don't take them anymore. But like when I would be taking them, like And like I've had actual Xanax and stuff, like they've never done much for me. Like the drops he used to get, like okay, I can see, but I was more focused on the sleeping part. But even like when him and I are chilling together, like I've never seen him take more than one or two. Like I've never seen him take a handful and just pop them. I've never seen that. I
Yeah, but
I see
another
I
one.
see him I see him go ham on alcohol. You know, I see him drink a lot. But I don't see him, you know, like physically I don't see him like, oh, I just took a benzo and then oh, I'll take another benzo because he's so worried about running out of them and he doesn't have a consistent income. He's not going to take 10 of them because he doesn't have the finances, and since he's so paranoid and psyched out that he's going to run out, and if he will have a seizure, he's not taking multiple. He's taking
But
one
all
or
it takes
two.
is one night of getting drunk and being upset to take more than what you intended.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
he just
but
goes hard until he crashes out to where he can't even talk or keep his head up, you know? Like
and,
that
and
shouldn't
that's
be a
where he
thing every night, you know?
and that's where he was when he called me this morning at 6 a.m. Like that's what I remember. Like I just couldn't really understand what he was saying over the phone. But just in the, I guess, in the end of it, you know, the hospital, they knew he was trying to get shit, and
But
I'm
that's
not.
the thing. It doesn't matter. Yeah, he's trying to get treatment, and the treatment involves giving
But
people
see,
Ativan. That's what that involves.
it's
You cannot allow somebody to just cold turkey
but
that shit.
it's also different too up here because I
No, it's
used to
not.
know
This is
no
typical.
no it's not. I know someone that he would always go and he has a history of opioid stuff, and even the hospitals, like they saw that, you know, he's an opioid user, abuser, etc., and they still gave him like opioid stuff. But then someone else that I knew that it was labeled as an alcoholic on the hospital charts, they didn't give them stuff for alcohol. So it's different up here in Fargo. And I've seen two different cases
Then
where
that
they
means
will
that
and
the
they
majority of
won't.
Don't
people
they
are
normally give
dying.
benzos for alcohol withdrawal?
Alcohol and benzo withdrawal is deadly. You will die. Like your heart will fucking stop. Like there's something called excitotoxicity, and it's like it's crazy. Like, and I don't know if he's at that level, but like you can die. Your heart will beat so fast that it like it essentially explodes. It is deadly, and they give people. You'll have seizures. You can have brain damage.
But see,
There's
like I was saying, is like he keeps saying and hearing that this is gonna happen. So like this is starting to become a reality. I don't see that happening. Marcel, like shit, like I remember this one time he gave me this one stuff, and he said he didn't know how much he gave me, but like he always says that I'm the guinea pig with stuff, and he gave me a shit ton. And when I was kind of like going to bed, like I kind of thought like I feel like if I go to bed, I'm not gonna wake up, so I stayed up all night. But the thing is, what I'm trying to get at is how do I word this without it sounding rude? He's he's too scared to go hardcore. Like yes, he will take this stuff, but he's too scared to take like a high amount. Like even with ketamine, which is pretty safe, just in my experience and how it can be beneficial therapeutic wise, he wouldn't even take an excess amount of that. Like he's scared to. He's just I don't know what word it is. He's just a pussy. Like he takes it, yes, but he won't go overboard.
He
Until
said
he
that
gets some of that
he's
courage.
buying multiple bottles of this stuff. And those dosages are like he's going through. He said he was taking like 10 drops or like 18 drops a day or something. Like that's a lot. Like that is enough. It's the equivalent of like maybe like 5 milligrams of Xanax a day. So like 15 pills basically. If you want to count
I
them as
mean,
like that.
again, yes and no. Again, you know, respectively, agree to disagree. I had actually, when I was still going at Southeast, I actually had told them that, you know, hey, like, what do you know of this, well, Brazilam or whatever it was? And they looked it up, And she said, I'd never heard of this before. And the lady I'd spoken with is a drug counselor. And she had said,
Drug
yeah,
counselors
okay.
don't know shit. Those people are. You don't need a fucking degree. Like they're not the most bright people in the universe.
I
Well,
thought about becoming
the chemical compound and the makeup of it, like when you look at the strand, and I don't know if you guys know much about the chemical side of it and just
Mhm.
yes.
how it's made, but when the strand, or what I like to call the branch of it, is different, but when the whole tree is essentially the same and there's just a different branch, like it's doesn't make it a game changer. And I'm not discrediting anyone else from doing it, but I'm just saying in Marcel's particular case, he's like he doesn't go hardcore. He goes hardcore on alcohol. He does get these stuff, but even when I'm with him, I've never seen him go hardcore whatsoever, like how he announces to the world, like, oh, I just took 10 or 20 drops of this and such. He doesn't have the income to do that, to financially keep it.
The stuff is really cheap. It's it's like $20 a bottle. I don't know. All I know is that there's a huge portion of drug users who use these chemicals, these compounds, who end up addicted on a level that is the same. And oftentimes they say it is worse. It is worse than any of the benzos that you can get at the pharmacy, anything like Xanax. It's significantly worse. And that's why they're not on the fucking market. And I don't know, maybe he's not. Maybe he's lying and maybe he doesn't take 18 drops. Maybe he takes one. But
I mean, I remember I took 2 drops and that knocked me the hell out. And I don't know when this whole
yeah, he's blacking out all the fucking time.
Xanax.
He's blacking out. He's coming online and saying like ridiculous shit. He's talking about wanting to have sex with a man's wife who just died the night before and wanting to take care of her children and fuck her and shit. He's acting ridiculous. Like all the time.
Yeah.
Like, this is blatant drug addiction. Like all of this leads me to believe that he's severely addicted. And I don't know. I believe him. I do.
I don't believe he's severely addicted. I believe it's a lot of mental health.
I think a lot of it's mental.
I really don't believe he has this big drug addiction problem. I don't think so.
I truly hope you're fucking right, and I hope that he's just a giant fucking liar, you know? And this is all exaggeration.
Out of everything that he doesn't take, I do believe he has maybe an alcohol issue. Like, I would
then
believe
why wouldn't
that.
he have a benzo issue too? If he had an alcohol issue, why wouldn't he have a benzo issue?
Because he's too scared to go to that, I don't know, that other side of the threshold, if you will. Like I don't know how else the word to put it, but he's just a pussy. Like he won't, like he's too scared to. Like and like I said, I don't know how to word what I'm trying to say in a very polite way. It's just knowing that he has essentially, no money. Uber doesn't pay well, especially this time of year. He keeps getting fired. He's not going to consistently take X amount to run out. And if he's so worried, he's not going to. He's just not. He's not going to take that amount.
I mean, he's constantly asking people for money. I mean, he sends messages all the time saying, hey, can I have $30? Can I have $20? To everybody. Everybody talks about that. He's always asking for money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that pisses me off too, because I'm going through a lot of stuff as well. I'm like, it pisses me off, that like.
Hey, real quick, what about the meth binge that he had? You said he doesn't go hard on stuff, but he went on a full-blown meth binge for 15 hours or something? Is that different?
When was this? I guess give me more context.
He had a live stream, and that was when he quote unquote lost his girlfriend's credit card and was walking. He walked for 8 hours to look for it, he says. And then he bought I think it was like a gram or something of meth from somebody at an IHOP or something, or some restaurant. And then he was tweaked out for 15 hours or something. He was on the live stream for over 15 hours. And this
Yeah,
place,
yeah, no, that happened. Yeah, that happened. But he doesn't like it. He doesn't like the come down that comes with it. But that did happen.
Way.
Okay.
Whenever you come down from that stuff, it makes you feel just yucky. Because I've been there before, and it just makes you feel awful.
Huh.
And see, the crazy thing is like, so I had been sober for 6 months. I had an issue last week, and I'm not doing it again. But like everyone, I hear that all the time when they say like the come down is terrible. I don't get this awful come down with it, and it's so interesting to hear that.
If you stay up for days and days on end, multiple times, you would know. You know what I'm saying? Like the come
Oh no,
down,
like yeah, like I like there's a 3-day weird. Like no, I was doing I was doing about 10 to 12 lines a day every day. Like I was doing 3-4 day weirds, but then my brain can perfectly go on its own. So it's very interesting to me hearing people say like that they have these awful come downs, and I never do. And it's been a year since I had, I guess, taken my adventures with it, if you will. And I've never had a bad come down. So it's just interesting. Like I'm not discrediting that it doesn't happen. It's just me personally. I've never had that happen before. But what I have heard though is people who have mental health like what I have, it doesn't register. But people who aren't necessarily the same, they do experience stuff like so. Like I've never taken, like whenever I used to do shit, like I would never see shit, or like I would never, like I wouldn't go on live stream and do like these weird things that like Marc would do. Like when I had an accident about a week ago, it just made me feel relaxed. It made my brain feel relaxed. I was just relaxed. Like it affects me so much differently than what everyone else. Like don't get me wrong. Like I'll be going, but I'm just relaxed. My brain is relaxed, so it affects me. The come down and the behavior is so much more differently.
And stuff.
Do what?
It makes me want to go fishing.
Yeah, I mean it. Yeah, that's it's.
It makes me want to attend a butt fucking conga line.
I mean, I usually just clean on it, and I guess chat as well. But everything, just going back with Mars, it's. I'm not saying it's not a big deal. I mean, it's a big deal, but I mean, if anything, he was there in a holding room for 2 hours and he couldn't take it. I'm always rooting for him. I will always support in any way that I can. He's going to do what he wants to do. He is his own person. But, I mean, the 2 videos, like, when I don't know, maybe this is just me, but, like, if you're going to rehab, like, I'm not posting a video on YouTube. Like, I'm not doing that. And maybe that's just me. And that's where, when I saw that stuff, I was like, I just think he's doing this for attention. Because he kept saying, while he was getting fired from these jobs, he kept saying, no one wants me, no one likes me, et cetera, et cetera. And then he does something like this.
Mark's the point. No one likes him. He's right. No one likes him. Go on, continue.
So, like, that's what, like, I'm there for him, but it's just, I don't see this. What happened today was, I'm going to rehab on my own for my own benefit. I just saw it as just a ploy. Like I knew it wouldn't last anyway. Like, and when he was on the phone when we were on the phone at 6 p.m., I was checking the time of how long we were on the phone, because at a place like that, he was able to go outside and smoke, but they're watching you. And I was checking the phone, seeing how long, because they don't let people outside for long periods of time, because it doesn't matter what the person themselves is doing to the facility or whatever. they're trained to, expect the unexpected, if you will. So if Marcel is just truly outside picking dandelions and staring at the clouds, if that's truly what he is doing, the facility still, they don't like him outside for 20 minutes because they could think, he's trying to get drugs in there or trying to escape or whatever. So I was surprised at how long he was staying on the phone with me for about 40 minutes. So that told me a lot to the place that he was at. Like, it wasn't like a serious detox place at all. It was just a place where they just,
Luke G, since we have you here, can you explain to us like how serious you should take it mentally when you're admitting yourself into a rehab?
You take it very seriously.
I've been to over 20 treatments, and you know what just came through my mind? As far as quitting drugs, you're never going to quit doing drugs until you really grasp or just come to terms with the fact that the benefits no longer outweigh the benefits no longer outweigh the negatives. That's for me at least. But what did you say? What was the question about treatment again?
Like if
how
you're
you
gonna
should
go
take it
admit
seriously,
yourself,
like the
does it need to be
mindset.
a very thorough decision,
I mean,
or can anyone just go in blindly coming down off a serious drug? Or, I mean, can you do it both ways?
I mean, it really depends on the individual, bro, because I've seen some people, they go to one treatment, they quit, one and done, they realize, fuck, I never want to do this again, and they're done. Or you got scumbags like me that have been to 20 plus treatments, in and out of jail and prison, still don't get it, and then one day they get it for some reason. It really depends on the person. It really depends on your mindset, how you compartmentalize things.
All right. Well,
It depends on the treatment. There's some treatments are really strict. Some are more laid back. Some are closed facilities. Some you can have your cell phone. Some you can't. Some you can leave. Some you can't even smoke. Some you can. So there's a lot of variables, man.
It does. And actually, real quick here, Adam O'Connor. I'm actually not on Seroquel anymore. I just take Lunesta because I just need more sleep than anything. I haven't taken Seroquel in a couple months or something like that. But with the I just saw that, and I just not on Seroquel anymore. I'm on just different medications, which I think are a lot better. But with the rehab and such, the place that he was at, he couldn't have, his phone. He had to turn it in, and like I said, like what he was describing to me, it sounded like it was psych ward like-ish, but I'm not saying it was, but it was. He had a door, but it had to stay open. He had a bench with a sheet on it and nothing, no music or anything. But he could go outside for a smoke. But like the thing is, like with Marcel, like I don't. How would I put this? I don't think with me, when I decided, okay, I'm no longer going to be doing ghost shit, like, I was understanding, when I was coming off of it, that, like, my actions really affected people. And I knew that even when I was doing it, but, in that moment in time, I didn't really care that much. I just wanted to just get the effect feeling. But with Marcel, I don't think he realizes like how his lifestyle is affecting, Megan's and other people's, but I don't think he cares. And when he talks about treatment and such, I don't think he cares at all to follow through with treatment.
I mean, could he just be oblivious
So the mindset
to it and wasn't prepared? Like he don't like the rules of his phone being taken from him, because then he feels like he's trapped with no way to get help. Then it just psychs him out. I mean,
I think he kept going on about how, and every time we talk about treatment, he always says, "Oh, if I go to this really nice place, like it's cushiony." Like I really think he has it in this mindset, like on intervention, they send you to this really nice resort. Like I think that's what he thinks is going to happen. But after today, if he does decide to do another go around of this, I think he'll be less inclined to, because he didn't get what he wanted. He didn't get that cushy treatment. He didn't get those fun activities. He didn't get to walk along the beach. He didn't get that. So I don't know if there will be a next time. I've told him millions of times, go to this place, they'll take you without insurance. He will not. He will not do it. But when he's at this place, when they say, do you want to go to this place? He says, yes, yes, I'll go there. But then he won't. So that's what this whole thing, it was just for attention. He got on YouTube. He got everyone talking. That's what he wanted. And like I tell him this,
I think he was just. I think maybe the reason why he filmed it was because to him, it felt like it was taking a step in a different direction into the uncertainty, and he just wasn't prepared for that uncertainty. It got the better of him. I feel like maybe.
Nah,
you got to be prepared mentally, you know.
And see, that thing is like he does all this research on drugs, such, you know, jail treatment, whatever. Like, and again, like, you know, his mindset is, you know, go to this wonderful treatment center, you know, walk along the beach, yada yada yada. Everyone's saying kumbaya and all that shit. But like, he does all the research, so he already knows what to expect. Like he already knows this. I don't think he took it seriously. And look, I take Kratom myself. If I don't take it for a couple of days, yeah, my body does ache a little bit, but then that's over with, you know. But he's going on about, oh, I'm having these Kratom withdrawals and such, and it just makes it into a bigger deal than what it needs to be. So I really don't believe it's an issue, and it's insensitive to other people who are going through it.
Yeah, he's a special, different kind of case. I will say that. So, I mean,
yeah, and I do believe he was scared, like, in the moment, because he didn't go to, you know, where he thought he was going to go, and I do believe that factored into it. But as far as, you know, setting things in motion and everything, I don't fully buy it. I just think his girlfriend got annoyed and fed up with him. And I feel, even though her and I have our differences, I feel bad for her because she has to financially support them all the time. And I can understand why she's upset, and rightfully so. But she doesn't have a right to, you know, say all this stuff to him when I've seen her, you know, act a fool. And there was this one night where she took his phone and was texting me, and I told her, I was like, get off Marcel's phone, that's super manipulative and all that stuff. And after that, like, she didn't say anything to me, she didn't look at me. So, like, she has a right to feel away, but she's also not, you know.
Yeah, it's like she's the one that's got to put up with him and his BS, you know, because of this.
Yeah.
Stuff. She's probably
so
thinking,
I feel
why
bad.
can't he just be a regular pot smoker or a drunk? Why is it got to be so
Yeah.
extra? You know, she wasn't.
So, like, I feel,
you know.
like, I feel bad for her because I can understand her frustrations, but also, and I don't think you guys know this, before this, he was also talking about working for this other place that was going to, he was basically going to go back to, like, Texas or Albuquerque, because he's been saying that, like, he wants to get out of Fargo for a bit just to get away and such. And I think this had something to do with
that he wanted to go take his job back doing the gypsy stuff, the road work or whatever.
Yeah, and like he had called his former boss the other night when I was in the car with him, and he had to leave a voice message. But like, he says things, you know, he's like, "Oh, hey, this is Snow," you know, the oh, howdy word. He said the infamous, or like, he builds himself up, like, you know, to other people when they're hearing this shit, like, oh wow, like he's hardcore. And I'm just saying, like, Marc, just stop, bro. Just stop. Just say you need a job. Just don't be so extra, bro. But he was saying he wanted, you know, a break from Fargo and everything. And then I think that also kind of had a factor into it too, because it's been a consistent theme for maybe a month now that he's been kind of feeling that type of way of, you know, just kind of escaping and such. But even if he escapes from Fargo, he's still going to do the same thing.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So it's like he just needs a vacation, a different scenery change, and I think most of
and
all this
psych
is
help.
because of a job, and
It is.
it's
It is.
desperation mixed with what's going on in his personal life with the mental aspect of it, like trying to be a provider, trying to do the right thing, wanting to fix his mistakes. I don't blame him, but
I
he
hope
just
he wants to
needs a
fix them.
counselor to check in with once every 3 days and just kind of let them air him out so that he doesn't start touting permanent solutions to temporary problems, Um,
Yeah, because he dodged a big bullet today. I tried getting him to understand. You dodged a bullet, bro, and he didn't want to listen to it. But
it's like he
if
wanted
this
to
would have,
entertain the idea of saying definitively, I'm going to rehab and this will all stop. He didn't think long term of, oh, I'm going to be living this every minute of the day alone, feeling like shit. He thought it was
yeah,
just going to be like what you see in the movies. You go away for a month and come back, and life is better than ever. But I
yeah,
think he
and
just
it's
knocked himself
just
out. If they
yeah,
would have
and it's
forcefully held him and he wasn't home right now, I think they would have made some progress.
yeah, and if they really thought he was something bad was going to happen or such, they would have done something. They would have. But at the same time, back when I was taking care of clients, but then they took advantage of this person who has, a visible disability. He had told them that he did not want a Xanax medication. He just wanted to take CBD. And the hospital that he went to, that Marcel also went to as well, with the other two people that I said who had the opioid and they gave him such, and the person who had alcohol and they wouldn't. They just have, they're just, it's not good hospitals up here. But at the end of the day, he did get checked out. He did have a drug screening. They did, the necessary process, but he kept saying stuff like, oh, I need to be, tapered off. And, you guys are supposed to give me,
So
like he
that
was
means
telling them, I'm supposed to get this.
he had to be
And
honest and tell
that's,
him what he's been doing, right? Everything, or else,
yeah, yeah. And I just think he shot himself in the mouth by saying all that. And I don't, I mean, it's Marcel. It's Marcel. Like there's no. I don't want to say there's pure logic in a lot of stuff he does because there are
yeah,
times
those
where I
people
don't
are
have
not
any
going to
pure
understand
logic.
him like us, So
Yeah, so I just think they just saw it as a flyer case coming in to get some meds, and that's what I really think it was because he has also said that to me multiple times that he would just rather have it that way. So, and I think that's how he worded it, and it came off as I want drugs. So it was eventful. I don't know if that's the right word to use or not, but it was interesting at least. I felt bad for him because I knew he wouldn't be able to handle it, so I was worried for him in that aspect. But everything else, it's like, well, bro, what? I mean, come on, bro, like, come on. I kind of regret not going over there last night because I did offer him one of my new sleep meds just so that he could just go to bed, and I do regret not
maybe
doing
if
that.
you were there today with her admitting him, you could have did a lot of the talking, and that probably would have flattened a lot of shit on the front end, maybe.
Yeah, I think so because. And I don't know what Megan's issue is. I really don't know. I think Marcia, supposedly I called her fat and she has not been over that or whatever. I don't remember so. And I told her, I was like, if I said that, I am very sorry. It had to been when I was drunk and I don't remember that. But Marcel, he makes up these stories. Like I just think he might have said some stuff that really wasn't necessarily true. I mean, granted, like I have been vacant from his life, but I just kind of go AWOL from not just him, but to everyone. And I do believe that has affected him to a degree. So Megan does have a right to say that you've been, you haven't always been there for him. But then at the same time, too, like I have, it's just some days I just disappear, and this is just normal behavior to me. So it's not like I'm really missing anything.
Yeah. I
Not
think
missing
everybody was just
him.
ill prepared. Honestly, I think everyone was ill prepared, even himself. This is going to be a group effort, Carlos. If he really wants this, you're going to have to talk to him for a few days and explain to him the details of what it's going to be like dealing with this. Like your life's going to change because you're going to drop off something that you've been attached to for so long that mentally that's all you know out of routine, and it's going to be different.
That's what I. That's what I
It's
tried
easier
to
said
when
than
I.
done. So
Yeah, and that's what I tried to when I picked him up. At first he had said, and I can understand, he didn't want to come home or go home because of Megan and get into a fight, and I understood that. But then back when I had an issues with my old lady, it's just best to get it out of the way, because she would have to go to work and she'd be mad at him, and then he's got a lot of anxiety, so it would have made it worse. So I just said, bro, just go home, just have it out now. It'll help with your anxiety. Get it out of the way. Talk about it. And I tried telling him, like, do you understand what you just went through and such? And he didn't want to listen to it. All he kept going on was he wasn't sent to a resort. So that's when I just stopped.
Honestly, what you should have did was, because he reached out to you the most, when he called you and said, "Hey, come pick me up. They're gonna let me leave." You should have talked him into staying at least one night, because there's going to be no good doctors on a Sunday. He would have got somebody fresh Monday morning. He would have had.
I actually told him I was going to take him back there. I asked him where is the place at. He wouldn't give it up, but I told him, like, I'm going to take your ass back there. But he was like, oh, it's over here, or now it's over there, and at the same time though, he's not coherent. So I didn't know where the hell he was. So I wanted to, because not up a shut up.
Yeah, it's like he had the right idea and the right intentions, but he wasn't prepared for the monstrosity of what comes behind it, the acceptance of things are going to be like afterwards, and he just was in the wrong place, wrong time. Today was not the day to do it. Not fucking coming in hungover, fresh out the hospital like that. Like that was not a good first impression for him, because now he's going to think it's going to be like anytime he goes.
Yep,
and he won't.
And he didn't get the resort treatment. And what sucks is just, what annoys me with all this is just like it's insensitive to people, people who really need it more, more so than him, or just people are actually going through this shit, and I don't like that he doesn't take it seriously. And I mean, like I said, like it makes me mad all the time that he's always asking money from Cash App, and he knows that I'm about to be homeless. I have no job. I mean, I'm working on my stuff, but it's just like, bro, like, do something about it. Like, do something. And he just doesn't really do anything about it, or hasn't lately. He's just, I don't know. But we all have to, we all touch the hot furnace enough, and we all realize one day, it's hot for a reason. We should probably stop touching the oven. So he'll hopefully wake up one day. I don't know what tonight's going to be like. He's probably going to drink, and I'll probably cry some more. So I will try my best to be there for him, but at the same time, I'm not good with tears, and I don't know how to properly comfort someone, and I can't word things in a polite manner. So I will try to say what I need to say in a G-rated format, but I'm not very confident in that. With Luke, right? That's your name, Luke?
Yeah.
So if you don't mind me asking, so are you clean? Like, are you sober? Like you were talking a little bit about that. Because you've been through the ringer with all this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, former heroin addict.
And you're good these days, like you like enough's enough, if you will.
Yeah. I mean, I had a year and a half at one point, and then I relapsed. Um, this winter I was using in like January, February, and then March I got clean. So I've been clean since March.
Oh, that's good. Good for
But
you.
yeah.
I had an issue 4th of July where I had been 6 months sober and had relapsed, and God, like the memories came back, and really wanted some more and such, and for a few days, it was pretty tough, but it's been however many weeks it's been since 4th of July, and I think I'm over, the cravings and such. So that's good that you're able to, and that's something hopefully
Yeah.
Marcel will come to realize that you gotta be committed. But it is a fight. Like, I don't discredit, but there's a lot of stuff that Marcel says that it's just, yeah,
Right. Yeah, I mean it's a hard thing, It's I mean, I'm sure parts of him wants to get sober, but it's a really tough thing to wrap your head around, and you really got to be sick and tired of being sick and tired, as cliche of a saying as that is, but it took me. I mean, even though I did have my relapse this winter, I still was sick, and I still knew that it was going to be temporary and I would be getting sober again. It took me.
Yeah.
Minneapolis was just. It's too easy to get stuff, and I live in a small town now. And that helped me.
I can't really hear you real well.
Dude, I swear, I don't even think it's my connection. I think it's the stream app.
Yeah, you're coming in and out and such. I'm actually looking at the comments. I think that's what everyone else is saying too.
Yeah, dude, because it was like your shit was going in and out. Like, I don't know where Cree is, and it was just like going flickering on and off. And my connection's fine on every other app. So I don't know what's going on. It could be the StreamYard servers.
Oh, Chris said something about he had to restart his PC. That might be it. Yeah, but that's cool though that you got the help that you needed and such. I won't lie or sugarcoat. Sometimes I have those cravings of it, but my life's better off without it. And it's one of those.
Yeah, it makes
at least
life a lot easier. Not getting high.
Yeah, and at least like how would I put it? I'm not making other people's lives worse. My life worse. So there's that took me a second because for a couple months I wasn't doing anything, and I had questioned myself, like, can I really do this? Like, can I really stay clean and such? Because just my surrounding environment, just not good. But I figured it's all on me at the end of the day. And then it was really until the 4th of July when I realized, damn, like it's been 6 months, and I was pretty proud of myself. And I told a buddy to, help hold me accountable. And, he just said, time to start all over. So I when it comes to stuff like this, I take it pretty seriously. It's, at least to me, it is, because the drug world, I mean, it's not just drugs, mental health is involved with it. So it's I take it seriously. I am. So I don't know if y'all can hear me. I actually have an interview tomorrow for a serving job again. So yeah, like I'm. So I've got that going on. I'm waiting on some programs to get back in contact with me to help me with housing and such. So I'm doing what I need to do. I am supposed to be out of my apartment on the 29th, and as of right now, I don't have anywhere to go, and I don't have anything necessarily. So I'm just getting ready to just, pack my stuff up in my car, and hopefully I can have enough money to put my furniture in storage until I figure something out. But I mean, that's my situation is it's kind of in a limbo, if you will. Like, hopefully I can get this job, but yeah, everything is just kind of, it's a mess right now. It's a mess, just very stressful. But I'm doing what I need to do to, I guess, keep going, if you will.
Sorry about that, Carlos.
Nah, you're good, man.
All right, so
Yeah,
man, I've been
King
going for a hot
Crowns. Yeah,
fucking
I'm
minute,
cooking
though.
something. I've not lived out of my car, but I am prepared to. I have pretty much everything packed up to where I think it can fit my car. So, I mean, I've lived in hotels. I've slept on random floors. So if I have to sleep in my car for a while, I will. I mean, I'm good on the roommate situation. My last lady I was with, it did not go well. So I don't really want to live with roommates. I mean, shit, if some lady is cool with that, some type of arrangement, yeah, sure. That's a great way to pay rent. But no, I'll figure it out.
Can y'all hear me?
I'll figure it out. Yeah, I can hear you, Greek.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah. Man, I appreciate you coming by, dude. But I'm gonna go ahead and jump out of here because I gotta go pee and smoke a cigarette. So, I guess just talk to Marc, man. Just try to get through to him and let him know that today he kind of fell off the bike, skinned his knee, but he can always get back up, slap a Band-Aid on, and try again.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I'll give him heart to heart, but I'm gonna have to. I tried telling him, last week, hey, I gotta tell you some shit you gotta hear. Like I yelled at them. I was like, you need to hear this, dude. Like, shut the fuck up. Let me try to tell you some
Yeah,
shit.
you're gonna have to be the one to get through to him. He's not gonna listen to anyone else, so you're like the only thing there. So
Yeah, but I have no room to talk. I've had my issues in the past, so there's that. But I do think though at times, he's kind of a follower, not a leader. So lead by example, if you
yeah,
will.
yeah.
So that's in my head too. And
Just
yes, I
be
am
there for
cooking
him.
something.
Give him Master Chef. Maybe get him out of
I
that funk, man. Invite him to go do stuff with you that's not stuff he would normally do. Like, just don't let him have idle time to be alone. Try to fill that void. Include him on things. Go bowling or walking or jogging or just something that's positive that takes his mind away from what he thinks he's doing all the wrong at. Yeah,
Yeah,
do
that's what
that.
I was when I picked him up from the wherever it was. I had said, we'll go get some, French fries or something cheap. But I just felt like he just needed to get this situation, the tension gone between him and his girlfriend first. But tonight, I mean, I gotta stay up all night because I can't miss my job interview. So I don't want my sleep meds to, have me sleep all night.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he's gonna stay up all night, but I'll be there for him, and I mean, I'll suggest just taking a walk, getting some fresh air. Um, the thing is, like,
Yeah.
I've suggested it beforehand. Sometimes he doesn't want to do that stuff. It's mostly just sitting in my car, running my gas, him asking me for money. So there's a lot of times where I just no, but try and help the poor bastard out, but also I can't always give him money because I got no money. So
I know you're not
there's
Superman. You can't go behind a whole another ass adult and pick up the pieces because you got your own problems in life. But I guess he needs you more now than ever, and he never thought he did. But this is the time. So
yeah, and I mean I am like it's difficult because I don't know how to say like I got my own shit I'm trying to deal with and I'm not discrediting his stuff but like there was one night where he and I was talking I was like bro like I'm sorry but like I'm about to be homeless bro like I just don't care right now and I didn't mean that in a rude way I was just like I just got other shit going on but I'll hear him out I'll do what I gotta do.
yeah, let him talk. Let him tell you what he thinks, and then you tell him bullet points of where he's wrong, just from your speculation. You don't have to be hypocritical or judgmental. Just be like, well, hey, this is what I think you could do in this area for improvement, and go from there. Just try little steps. So
Yeah, I suggested a cleaning job. Um, he said he was going to do it, then he never did.
shit,
So
Wi-Fi is
that
doing
that's
that bullshit again. Shit. I hope I don't lose y'all again. Okay, there it goes. Yeah, Carlos, much love though, man. I appreciate you coming by. I'm gonna go ahead and jet out of here. I got to go, my friend. But we'll all check in and talk tomorrow about all this, okay?
yeah, y'all have a good one.
All right, be good, man. Whew, man, one hell of a day. Still, it's not over. Guys, hold out hope, say your prayers, send some meaningful messages. Um, y'all have a good day tomorrow. Be safe. We'll be back tomorrow to see what's going on. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Thanks to everybody in the chat and returning viewers. Please hit that like on your way out. We'll keep you posted. Have a good day tomorrow. I love you all. Peace.